Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Emezi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode. Today's episode features our Reboot coach, Dr. Howard Rankin. Dr. Rankin has an extensive background in psychology, addiction research, and years of practical application. His approach is informed by over 30 authored academic papers and several groundbreaking books that he's authored on the mind, on communication, and addiction recovery. His work is dedicated to uncovering and addressing the root causes of your addictive behavior, and he offers Porn Reboot clients a path to understanding and overcoming their challenges. His methodology blends scientific rigor with a lot of personal experience and innovative communication strategies. Enjoy the episode.
I think that a big part of forgiveness is really you're not, especially if you're dealing with, it's probably easier to start off by thinking about forgiveness of somebody else. So when you're forgiving them, you're not saying what they did was okay. You're not saying if they did it again, that would be okay. Okay. What you are saying basically is, I am not going to get emotionally engaged with this. Okay. I forgive you. I am letting myself free. Famous quote by Lewis Smedes. Forgiveness is letting a prisoner go and realizing the prisoner is you. Okay, that's what it is. So it's the emotion. It's forgiveness is I'm not going to pursue it. I'm moving on. You should move on. But really, what that is letting go of any emotion, any anger, frustration about what somebody did for you. Because that's that emotion and anger, particularly, that keeps you trapped. But if you can see this through the eyes, compassion, I forgive you, that is not agreeing with it, saying it's okay, saying if you do it again, it's okay. No, it isn't. What it's saying is giving you a pass on this, and I'm giving myself a pass on it, in that I am not going to get emotional about it. It's in the past. And my energy needs to be directed to the present and the future. And I cannot get stuck in the past. And that is important. And it's when you're thinking about self, all of us have got things we regret we did. And forgiving yourself isn't saying, oh, well, letting yourself off the hook, or I didn't really do that, or I was a victim. No. Forgiveness it's got to be honest, right? So forgiveness comes from, hey, yeah, I made a mistake, I screwed up. However, let's remember nobody is perfect. We all screw up in different ways, all right? And forgiveness is allowing myself to accept that and not focus, worry, get emotional about it, saying goodbye to it. In that act of acceptance, you made a mistake. You do not want to stay fixated and obsessed with the mistake. It's so easy to do, but you cannot do that. That's the worst thing you can do. So forgiving yourself is not saying, oh, it was really okay. It was, yeah, I screwed up. But I have self-compassion. I need to put this in perspective. Everyone screws up. And that's not a justification. But I cannot hold myself to unreasonable standards that I am never going to screw up. And if I do, then I'm shamed and I'm a disgrace. No, it has to be, I recognize it, I accept that responsibility, but I no longer have emotion I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I'm not ashamed of myself. Give it up. That time has passed. You're in a new era of you now. You are in a different place. And it's very important to understand that. We've talked in the program a lot about self-compassion. It is important. That's what we're talking about. Be reasonable. Because the problem with the strong negative emotions like shame and anger and fear and all of that is they can easily dominate you. It is very difficult to put them in perspective. Say, well, I feel about 4% shamed right now. No. If you feel shamed, it's total, right? It's total. And that's where you have to break down and say, no, the fact that you actually even feel shame should be the first step. Great story about a priest who was talking with German soldiers at the end of World War II. And he said to this one guy, are you sorry that you killed people? And the guy said, no. The priest asked the really good question, are you sorry you're not sorry? Are you sorry you don't have compassion? Are you sorry? Right. And that is important. That is important. Just because you screwed up does not make you wrong for life. It just doesn't. And so it is really important to understand that for all of us. Acceptance is really important. Yep, I screwed up, but I am not going to beat myself up over that, because that is amplifying the torture even more. And you don't need to be tortured by anyone, but especially yourself.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.